Good afternoon, Mr. Saidy-Khan. Welcome back to the hearing.
Thank you so much.
I hope you had a good break.
Yes.
I would just like to remind you that you're still under oath, and you have an obligation to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Prior to the break, we're talking about the incident of 15 June 2009, wherein two NIA officers came to the Fourier premises, asked for Samsar, arrested him. You were documenting the arrest, and so you were also arrested for doing so.
Yeah.
You were taken to the NIA premises, where you met other 5 journalists. All of you 7 journalists were from The Point and Fourier newspaper,
Yes.
as well as members of the GPU. You spent 3 days at the NIA. You told us that during that period, you were intimidated and there were attempts to coerce you into writing statements. Some of you wrote statements, others didn't.
Yeah.
You also told us a bit about the conditions at the time, where you were sleeping, access to food, the fact that you weren't given access to lawyers. After those 3 days, you told us that you were taken to the Canifing Magistrates Court.
Yeah.
But prior to that, were you taken to any other location apart from the NIA, or was it from the NIA straight to Canifing Magistrates Court?
Yes, it was from the NIA straight to the Carnival Magistrate Court. Yeah, that was on Thursday. Yes.
So please tell us what happened upon arrival at the
Yes.
Magistrates Court.
So we were escorted at the Carnival Magistrate Court. From the 15th was on Monday, 16th on Tuesday, 17th on Wednesday. So on the 18th of June 2009, we were at the Carnival Magistrate Court. So when we appeared, we were all arranged at, in the dock, and the magistrate at the time, her name was Magistrate Abubakarr was the magistrate. So when the charges were read to us, all of us pleaded not guilty.
Do you recall what some of those charges were?
We were charged with sedition, publishing seditious materials and other stuffs at the Carnival Magistrate. I can somehow recall, yes. Yes.
So you all entered not guilty pleas?
Yeah, we all entered the plea of not guilty. So there, Magistrate Wada Sise decided to remand all of us to Mile 2 Central Prison. That was the first appearance at the Carnival Magistrate Court. So we went to Mile 2.
Were all of you remanded? You told us that there were 7 journalists, so 6 men and 1 woman. Were all of you remanded to Mile 2?
Yes, we were all sent, but later there was negotiation for Sarata Jabidiba because she was a lactating mother. She was having a very young child at the man. His name is Mohammed. Yes, I could remember.
So you were remanded at Mile 2. Can you tell us where exactly in Mile 2 you stayed?
Yes, but before we were remanded, each of us was given the opportunity to speak to the court because we were not represented by any legal personnel there. No legal representation was there. So we were given an opportunity to at least convince the court as to why we should be given a bail. But it was rejected. So we were at Mile 2.
So just to be clear, at your initial appearance, you were not given access to a lawyer?
Yes.
So you had to argue bail, an application for bail by yourselves?
Definitely.
And that was rejected?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So during our stay in Mile 2, I was in the same cell with Pap Sen.
Was this in the remand wing at Mile 2?
That was the remand. We were all at the remand wing.
Yes, please continue.
Yes. So I was in the same cell with Pap Sen. So Emil Toure and Pamodu Fall and others. Samsar was also at cell number 11, I think, at the remand wing. We were not all put in one cell. So we were just separated. So, but I was in the same cell with Pap Sen.
I'd like to focus on the conditions of the remand wing. Can you tell us a bit about the conditions there?
It was very bad. You cannot keep a human being to those kind of conditions. And during my time, I was there with my recorder. They did not get my recorder. I don't know, but I have recorded interviews from prisoners, and this was published on foreign newspaper after our release. I transcribed everything. So we have more than 140 something inmates, prisoners who were remanded at that remand wing during my time in 2009. I counted. Yes, but the condition there is you have 4 toilets. You know, there is a fence between the 2 areas. The other area there is a 2 toilet, and the other area also there is 2. So 2 toilets, 2 bathrooms. So all these 147, we had to get. Sometimes we will go into queuing to go and take bath and stuff like that. The place is not clean. You see flies everywhere. The dustbin is always, you know, everywhere is just crazy. Water is everywhere. So even to walk, sometimes you feel like as if that you are walking on something that I cannot just explain it. But they are not taking care of the place during those days. So we spent 3 days and we were back.
I still want to focus on the 3 days that you spent at the remand wing at Mile 2. You told us that there was water everywhere. Was it the rainy season or dry season? Do you recall?
No, I think this is coming from the tap. We were not in a rainy season. It was coming in the tap.
What about the sleeping conditions? You told us that you were in the same cell as Mr. Papsen. Can you tell us a bit about the conditions of that cell? Yeah,
it was very hard. The conditions there were very hard. Some had to sleep on top, and others will sleep down. So there was no space. We had to just manage it.
When you say some had to sleep on top and others down, what are you referring to? What kind of beds or what was provided for you to sleep on?
It is just this outdated kind of beds that they built. Is walls. They just built it and then place these woods on top of it. So you see people just placing their materials on top of the wood and then they will be sleeping on it. But Papsen is somebody who he's tall and then he can take a space. So we all had to give him chance to relax well because he was old already, you know, and he complained too much when we were there. So I really feel for Papsen in those days. Yeah, but for me, I was young, so I do not take I can't feel the pain like that because not knowing the real meaning of what I was into, because I was young. So there was a point in time that Pa Modi will just be coming to me, counseling me to take things easy. Yeah, but to me it was not a problem. I was just there with them, seeing my seniors. So I'm always, you know, into my own things. When we are out, there are times that they open the cells for us to go out, relax outside, but not outside the main yard, just within the remand wing, and then we will get back. 12 o'clock in the morning we will get out, 5 o'clock we will get back till the next day.
What was the condition in terms of the food that you were provided? Were you provided with food?
Yeah, the prison, they provide food, but normally it's chere. They bring this chere, but in those 3 days I have never eat the food. I was only relying on the ones coming from outside. Yeah, the supply was very constant, so I was relying from the foods coming from outside.
You told us that Mr. Papsen was very old at that time.
Yeah.
What about the condition of other members of your group?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Samsar was also ill. He was also old. He complained of taking some medications during the arrest, that he was going to hospital and having some medication. He was old, you know, Papsen also the same thing. So I think Emil Toure also complained of some medical complications and stuff like that. As for Pamodu, Ibrahim Sawane, I do not get into it, but they all have complaints during those days because we all meet professionals coming from outside to see us. Yes.
What kind of professionals were coming from outside to see you?
There was this time that I saw Usino Dabo, lawyer Dabo, coming to the prison at the main yard, talking to Samsar, and Marisen Firdaus, the former Minister of Justice. Yes, I don't know what were they doing there, but I saw them. And the deputy clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Sane, at the time was also, they came together, but I don't know actually what was their mission there.
So you told us that some members of your group required medical attention or had medical issues at the time. Do you know if they were given access to medical facilities or if a doctor or a nurse was sent in to look after them?
Yes. To be honest, I saw doctors coming there, seeing Emil Toure, and then having access to my other colleagues. I have seen them on several occasions.
So you spent 3 days there.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened after that.
So after the 3 days, we were taken back to the Carnival Magistrate Court. So that from Thursday was on the 18th, so Friday was on the 19th. So Saturday 20 and Sunday 21st. So on Monday was on the 22nd of June. We were at the Carnival Magistrate Court. So that was the day that we were granted bail, each of us.
So you were granted bail. Did your trial start after that?
On the 22nd, when we appeared, an application for a bail was the issue, was the matter at hand. So when we had bail, all of us dispersed. So there were journalists, other members of the press union came, jubilating and then shouting, taking photos. In fact, in that instance, I think somebody was arrested for taking photos. Yeah.
In fact, a question that's important. Were you represented at that second instance when you were granted bail?
Yes.
You're represented by a lawyer?
Yes, we were all represented.
So after you were granted bail, how long did your trial last?
2 to 3 months, to be precise. Yes, but I was acquitted and discharged at the latter part, at the High Court. Yes, but it's around 3 to 4 months. Yeah, I am not so exactly, but if you check, it's around this area.
In fact, you have a paper with you that reported on your arrest, detention, as well as proceedings at the High Court.
Yeah.
Can we just take a look at that? Mr. Chairman, I would just like to read the headlines, the date, as well as the publication number. And then what I was more interested in is highlighting the charges. And then I will provide it to the commissioners to take a look while we continue with the questioning.
Please proceed.
Thank you very much. This is a copy of Fourier newspaper. It's dated 8th to 9th July 2009. It's number 79 of 2009. And the headline reads, "The 7 journalists appear in High Court today as pending case in Canifing withdrawn." Just a question on that. Were charges pending in the Canifing court as well as having to answer charges at the High Court? So were you basically answering charges in 2 courts? Can you switch on your mic?
The case was later transferred to the High Court because it was a very complicated case. So our lawyer by the time, Antuman Gay, argued that we cannot take our plea because there were additional charges that came when we appeared at the High Court. Then Antuman said charges at the lower court has to be withdrawn before we take our plea at the High Court. So, but later, those charges were withdrawn at the lower courts. Then we took our plea at the High Court, and then the trial continues.
One of the issues that we discussed yesterday, as well as today, were some of the laws that were used against journalists. So I just want to highlight some of the charges, just to illustrate that point. So one of the charges was publishing seditious publications contrary to Section 51, subsection 1A, read together with Section 52, subsection 1C of the Criminal Code. Another charge refers to conspiracy to commit criminal defamation, contrary to Section 368 of the Criminal Code, as well as criminal defamation contrary to Section 178 of the Code and punishable by Section 34 of the Criminal Code. So these were some of the charges that you and your colleagues faced. Is that correct?
That's very correct.
And please feel free to leave the mic on. During that time, you told us that you were then discharged. Can you tell us what happened? Why were you? Why didn't your case proceed?
Yeah, our case, when the case was transferred at the High Court, Justice Wowo was the High Court judge who was in charge of our case. So there was this time that the trial judge was not taking things easy with us. So we had to make an application.
What do you mean by the trial judge was not taking things easy?
He was very harsh on us. It is as if that he was ready to convict and sentence all of us to prison. So the manner in which he was appearing to us during the trial was not easy at all. The words were not convenient, and it is as if that he was a mercenary judge.
A mercenary judge?
A mercenary judge. Yeah, he was. I have seen at the time, if Emil wants to come in and then make an argument, he will cut Emil in a way, you don't understand. If Sam want to come in and then make an argument, you see, it is as if that he will be exercising his powers to us, as if that he is the judge and he is in control of the place. So we have to just dance to the tune that he wants us to dance to.
But at the time, you told us you were represented by lawyers.
Yeah, there. Antuman Gay was there, but there was this time that Antuman has to march out from the whole trial because of the demeanor of the trial judge.
So essentially you're saying lawyer Antuman Gay walked out in
there was this
protest
time.
of the behavior of the judge?
Exactly. There was this time that he walked out from the trial.
Okay, continue. You were telling us what led to your...
Exactly. Then later, preparations and negotiations were done on the ground for us to have our case file transferred to another judge, that we cannot continue with Justice Wowo. We were also that if he continues on that matter, we will all be convicted and sentenced to prison. So we are not seeing that impartiality in him. So the Chief Justice at the time, Justice Agim, decided to seize the case file and then transfer it to Justice Fagbele.
And can you tell us what happened when Justice Fagbele took over? Yeah,
when Justice Fagbele took over the case, the trial continues in a normal way. Both parties were represented, and then Richard Chenye was the state prosecutor representing the Attorney General chambers.
So you felt at that point in time that you were before someone who was judging your case impartially?
Yeah. He was listening to us, yeah.
Tell us what happened. Were you sentenced or were people discharged?
Well, I was the one at the middle of the trial. I was the one who was acquitted and discharged because, according to the judge, Justice Fagbele, that the crime that I was charged with has no connection with what happened. I just took a photo, and just taking a photo does not mean that I should be charged with all those charges. So there was no proper argument as to why I should have been in that whole trial. So he ruled and made a judgment that I should be acquitted and discharged. So I was acquitted and discharged as the 5th accused person in the middle of the trial. So Pamodu, Emil Toure, Ibrahim Sawane Sar, Rajabi Diba, Pap Sen, and Sam Sar continued.
So essentially, there was no case for you to answer, and you were released.
Exactly.
What about the rest of the group, the 6 journalists? Were they convicted in the end?
Yes, in the end, they were all sentenced and convicted to 3 years in prison.
From what you know, did they serve all that time?
No, they only served 27 days. and were pardoned by the former president.
Can you tell us what impact, if any, this experience had on you? You told us that you were very young at the time.
Yeah.
You spent some time at the NIA and then spent some time at Mile 2,
Yeah.
essentially for taking photographs of your editor being arrested.
Yeah.
What effect did that have?
Yes, the impact was I was one point in time afraid to continue with the profession because I have started seeing things coming hard on me, and I was very young. So the coming of my family, my mom, my dad, and my other brothers coming to court every day, I seeing them standing at the dock. Even my family in Brikama all have to pay every time coming to the court just to witness the trial. My friends all have an impact on me. Our names were everywhere in the international community. There were statements coming up condemning what was happening, you know, pressurizing the former president to discharge all of us without conditions. These were all, you know, negative impacts that had on me. So I was just strong, and then, you know, was listening and relying to my seniors because I was the youngest there. So that is how I just get away with the thing.
And you continued with the profession?
Yes, I still decide to continue with the profession because, you know, if you are in prison, it's difficult, but when you are out, it is as if that nothing happens.
For you?
Yes, for me, yeah.
In that year, in 2009, there was another incident in relation to your investigations regarding the witch hunt. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. This was in February 2009. There was this weak doctors that came from Guinea Conakry. I was told by some of the witnesses, the victims, that they were hired by the former president, Yahya Jammeh, to come and screen witches and wizards in this country. A reason best known to the former president. So my managing editor, Sam, once assigned me to start investigating with regards to that activity, illegal activity. So I started investigation in Makumbaya. Yeah, I went to Makumbaya and then speak to one family, a compound called Jamekunda. So there was this old woman who was abducted, but she was not the only one, a full boast. Yes, that's what people were abducted, taken to a compound in Kololi, a compound called Baba Job's compound, spending 3 weeks, 2 weeks there, giving this hallucinogenic concoction to drink, all in the name of trying to screen witches and wizards in the country. So I bring the story to Forea, transcribe, write, and then give it to my editors to edit. So there was this big story that I came with, and the headline of the story is the burial of an abductee in Makumbaya. That was the headline, the burial of an abductee in Makumbaya. The old woman died out of from the abduction. So when I brought the story, I have written the article. So Emil Toure looked at it, and then Halifa Saleh, member for Serekunda, was passing, and then saw the headline and asked me to forward the article to him. He wants to look at it. So when he looks at it, we were sitting together. He saw the nature and the height of human rights violation that was embedded in the article, and then built interest and said that that I should guide him to go to Makumbaya and speak to the families of those victims.
Before you continue telling us about that, I want to focus a bit more on what you discovered as a result of your investigations into the witch hunt. It is a theme that the Commission will look at in subsequent hearings, but for now I just want to know what you found out as a result of your investigative journalism. Tell us a bit about who was involved in this activity, how long it lasted, and what types of acts and conducts were committed, the human rights violations that you speak of.
Exactly. There were military officers who were accompanying these witchcraft doctors from Guinea Conakry. They used to wear these red garments when they are going, with big jujus and stuff like. So you have these green boys who are also part of the crew moving with them.
Who are the green boys?
The green boys is they are a militant group working for the president. They have a very good relationship with the former president. We used to call them green boys. They are always in this APRC green things and stuff like. They were also part of the group working with these witchcraft doctors and some military personnel.
But they were not dressed in military uniforms?
No, they were not dressed in military uniforms, but they are always in green. So, but there are military officers also accompanying the witchcraft doctors.
So the green boys along with military officials?
Exactly.
And the witch doctors from Guinea?
Exactly.
Tell us what they were doing.
Yes, they will go to villages and will abduct. I cannot call it an arrest. They will abduct some old people, elderly people, women and men, take them to a car, and then we'll drive them to a compound called Baba Job's compound in Kololi. They will spend weeks there, claiming that they are trying to screen and witches and wizards. That's what they were saying. So, but we were never given access to enter the compound and then make investigations there.
Do you know exactly where this compound, Baba Job's compound, was located?
Yeah, we were told it's in Kololi, but not exactly where it was located.
At the time, was Mr. Baba Job present, or did you see him during your investigations?
No, Baba Job at the time was alive, but was in the prisons. Yes, I made investigations later.
You told us that they were going to different villages, supposedly to abduct people and screen them to see if they were witches. Can you tell us some of the villages that they went to based on your own investigation?
Exactly. They started at Jambor. Jambor is in Kombo, and one of the journalists, Abubakarr BCC, went to Jambor to investigate what happened in Jambor. So I was opportune to go to Makumbaya, it's also in Kombo, Gunjur Berending, where the Imam and the Alcalo were all arrested, were all abducted. They were all old people. When I went, I think the Alcalo, he's completely an old guy. When I spoke to him, he went to a stage of trying to, I don't know how to call it, to take out his trouser to tell me how these people treated him. He could not even use, I don't know how to say it, he's completely an old guy. I don't know whether he is alive now, but he could not even urinate. Then the doctors have to fix something to his stomach. I don't know, that's what he used to urinate. The man, I don't know whether now he's alive, but I can go up to his compound and then show anyone who is interested to follow the thing. He complained a lot, sitting at one place. So the Imam also, I went to his compound and then investigated what happened. He explained everything to me. All these articles are written and they are at, if you go to Fourier Archives, you will see my bylines with this article. I went to ESO also. When I went to ESO, the former chief of ESO, Alagi Tabora Mane, he is now late, was also abducted by these witchcraft doctors. And I went inside ESO and saw a teacher who was mercilessly beaten by the soldiers because they wanted to give him the hallucinogenic concoction and he refused. He was mercilessly beaten in front of his own family members and his wives. I saw another vocal and an outspoken old man who came up to Fourier newspaper to report this case by himself. He said he saw that we were reporting the case on the newspaper and he was abducted, given the hallucinogenic concoction, threatened. He came to Fourier and then lodged a complaint, and then we've written the article also. They are all at Fourier. If you go 2009 from February to April, you will see all these things there. Yes.
How long did that activity take place, the hunting of witches? You just told us you have articles from February to April.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it took?
Yes, to be precise, from February to April is around 3 months. Then it was stopped. But before it was stopped, Halifa Saleh made an intervention. At the time that he saw this article, the burial of an abductee in Makumbaya, that this must stop.
And before we continue with that,
Yeah.
you told us you gave us some examples of what happened to some of the men. What about the women? What were some of the experiences that they faced?
Yeah, I interviewed several women, but one of the women that I interviewed said she was raped by a green boy guy who could be, her son. You see what I mean? I have this story. I have all the proofs at Forea. You know, all these articles are written. So I did not mention the name of the woman who was raped, but the daughter of this woman was a police officer stationed at the Banjul.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
That's enough
All right.
information.
All
I think
right.
yeah. But please continue telling us
Yes.
what experience.
Exactly. So when I took Khalifa to Makumbaya to meet the family members, but Khalifa went and asked them. They explained everything. I was standing. The driver, Tafa, was there, and there was one Usman who was he was also working at Forea. 4 of us were in the car. We used Khalifa's wife's vehicle to go to Makumbaya for the first trip. So when we reached Khalifa interviewed all of them. So they were very honest to Khalifa Saleh. They explained the situation as it happens, and we came back to Forea.
Did they describe some of the effects that drinking the concoction had on them?
Yes.
Can you tell us?
Some of them said when they drink the concoction, the hallucinogenic concoction, but you will see they will urinate on themselves and they will, without realizing it, going to the extent of defecating, you know, and then the green boys will come and start, you know, cleaning them up. Yeah, to them that was a screening of witches and wizards. Yes, this is what they used to explain to me. I was speaking directly to the victims, those that are affected directly.
So, on this occasion, you went with Mr. Khalifa Saleh?
Yeah.
And you heard testimonies of these victims of the witch hunt incident. Then you returned to your offices?
Yeah, for the first day.
The first time?
Yeah. So the following day, we were back. But this time around, Khalifa had the intention to document the testimony of the victims in Makumbaya. So he decided to go with a video camera and then speak to the victims, and then they will give the testimony on video. According to Khalifa, the plan was to send this video to ECOWAS, to the international institutions, at least to let them know the height of human rights violation that Jammeh was doing to his people. Yeah, this was it. So I think, I don't know who informed the former Inspector General of Police, Esa Baji. He followed us in Makumbaya. But
was he the Inspector General of Police at the time?
At the time, yes.
Okay, continue.
Yes, he followed us in Makumbaya with his men. So, but we could not meet when we were coming back. They were going and we were coming back. So I came to the office for a year and I started writing my articles. So I did not even know that Khalifa was out of the office, back to his house. So when Khalifa was his house, a word came to me that Esa Baji is at Khalifa's house and trying to effect an arrest. You see? So I was not told why Esa Baji was there. But I got word that Khalifa is arrested, taken to Banjul police station, where he spent some hours. Yes, and the laptop of the wife, Mr. Aida Jallo, seized, and the video camera, which was used to take the testimonies of the victims, also seized.
Do you know how much time Mr. Khalifa Saleh spent at, is it the Bundung police station?
No, it's Banjul.
Banjulinding
Yes, few
police
days.
station.
He spent few days there, 2 to 3 days, and afterwards moved to the police headquarters. Yes, police headquarters also he spent some days. There was this time that I went to the police headquarters. I did not enter the hall, but I saw Mr. Saleh sitting down with a senior police officer. I think they were on the ongoing interrogation at the time. I saw him sitting in a chair. We just saw each other and I went out.
During that time, did you receive any information about the individuals that arrested Mr. Khalifa Saleh on that occasion?
I was told that Esa Baji went to the compound to effect an arrest, but the other individuals, no.
And at that point, from what you've told us, it appears that Mr. Khalifa Saleh was arrested for trying to document human rights violations and
Correct.
abuses.
Correct.
Can you tell us how long he spent at the Banjul police station, or what happened to his case after?
From the Banjul police station, there was preparation of charges to prosecute the matter. So, you know, Makumbaya falls under the jurisdiction of Brikama. He was taken to Brikama Magistrate Court and he has his first appearance before the court. We were all there. He was refused bail. He represented himself.
Do you recall what the charges against him were?
Yeah, that's the problem, but he's on record. Yeah.
That's fine. Please continue.
Yes,
yeah.
Then he was refused bail, but was sent to Mile 2. He was refused bail, sent to Mile 2. After a week, he's back to the court for the trial to continue. And the trial magistrate was Magistrate Ola Jabutu. Magistrate Ola Jabutu. Yeah, he was a foreign magistrate. So there, the second appearance, Khalifa applied, he made an application, oral application for a bail. In my presence, Sidia Jata was there, Sam Sar, all of us were there, many people were there. So the trial magistrate accepted to give a bail. Technically, legally they accept to give him a bail, but technically they were refusing him a bail. Because
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, what the trial magistrate said is that Khalifa will be granted bail, but this has to do with somebody who is a former Army Chief of Defense Staff. Former Army Chief of Defense Staff will bail Khalifa Sallah, and this person should not be a current Army Chief of Defense Staff. And at the time, Lantombon Tamba was the Army Chief of Defense Staff, and he was current. So there was no former Army Chief of Defense Staff at the time who could have the opportunity to come and bail Khalifa Sallah. So legally, I'm telling you, he was granted bail, but technically he was being refused.
So as a result of that onerous condition, he remained...
Yes, he was back at Mile 2.
At Mile 2.
Yes, I saw people crying very well. People were crying seriously. Khalifa started speaking, he was emotional that day, moving back and forward, speaking, we were all standing looking at him within the premises of the Brikama. We all felt bad that day. So many people cried. But they have to whisk him away and then take him to Mile 2. After spending 3 weeks in Mile 2, he was pardoned by the president.
As far as you know, was he actually convicted based on those charges?
No, there was no conviction. He was just refused bail, like I said. And then later, I think negotiation and international pressure were coming in. People were on the ground talking to the president and stuff like that. I don't know what happened, but we just saw Khalifa was pardoned. He came to the office and I saw him. We made so many pictorials on the newspaper that he was pardoned and was published. That was the end of it. But there was nothing like sentencing and convicting him.
And as far as you know, it was the president who actually instructed his release.
Exactly. In short, charges against him were dropped in that particular matter. Yeah.
I would now like to focus on the third incident that you told us about. It's regarding your problems you had with the police. Please tell us about that.
The one in 2010?
Yes.
Yes. 2010, it was at the Talinding police station. Talinding police station, I was called by a the station officer, Gorjimbub. He is now the head of the anti-crime unit, I'm told. When I appeared at the Talinding police station with my brother, Usman Saidy-Khan, I was told that the articles that I'm writing on Forea are all false and stuff like that. So I told, before the counter, I told Mr. Mbub that if I am writing articles that are all false and you have a complaint with it, why not you write the same opinion piece and then take it to Forea, you publish it, at least challenge my articles, you see. But just to invite me at the police station just like that, complaining about my article, does not make sense to me. So later I saw these small junior police officers who were not satisfied with the way I was speaking to Mr. Gorjimbub, because we were all living in the same area there. They started shouting at me. They don't even want me to, have a conversation with Gorjimbub. He's a tough man. He's up, you see. So they started telling me to keep quiet, that I am at a police station. Do I think that I can teach them law and stuff like that? So I was not ready to get into a push and pull with them because I know their nature. They used to do that to so many people. But when they asked...
What is their nature? What do you mean by
the nature of the police by then is that if you have a fracas, a little argument with them, the next thing is they will force you to get to the police station or beat you or slap you or insult you. That's the nature at the time.
Do you have any examples of these types of incidents?
Yes.
Or was it something that you just heard?
Yes. The example is when I get to the police station and there was this conversation between me and Mr. Gorjimbob, the boys, they are still in town. Sometimes I meet with them on the streets and I recognize them and they recognize me. But we will not speak to each other. So 6 of them came on me and said I should go behind the counter. I said, why would I go behind the counter? Do you charge me of any offense and stuff? So I was forced to get behind the counter. And
how were you forced to get behind the counter?
They came after me and then gripped me and then took me behind the counter. So there I was trying to convince them to leave me alone, that I'm not going to give any statement or any other stuff. I don't know whether it was a conspiracy or not, but they wanted to move to a level of pushing me to the cells. So that was where the problem comes, because I don't want to go to the cells for no reason. So Gorigi gave them the orders for them to take me to the cells. So I said I'm not going to the cells. So they said, why should I have the audacity to say that I'm not going to the cells, that I am at a church office? So there we started to push and pull, and then it becomes that I saw myself in a group of police officers fighting each other. So my brother...
What do you mean by we began to push and pull?
Yeah,
what exactly happened?
Yeah, when the push and push was getting tough, we started hitting each other. Because they hit me, they are 6 in number, and I was annoyed, and then I started hitting them back. Because what happened is, why should you hit me? What have I done that you should hit me? As a police officer, you are on uniform, you hit me.
So you felt that you were defending yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Because they are 6 in number. So my brother, junior brother, who was next to me, at least tougher than me, also came behind the counter and started defending. So we saw ourselves fighting.
So it was you and your brother against 6 police officers?
Exactly, 2010.
What happened next?
Yeah, what happened after we were charged with willful damage of property? They said we damaged, I have some, charged with willful damage of property and grievous assault, I don't know, it's 2010. Assault, willful damage of property, and the matter was at the court, at Bundu Magistrate Court.
Did they charge you for obstruction at all?
Yes, they also charged me with obstruction whilst the police officers are on their duties. I could remember.
While they were trying to...
exactly, they call it obstruction.
Please continue.
Yes, from there, the matter went to Bundung, and the first magistrate that handled my case file was Surakata Danso. Yes, Surakata proceeded with the case at a time, and then it was transferred to Magistrate Christiana L. Leon. She was a woman, a young girl. She was the one who proceeded with us.
A young lady?
A young lady, yes. I'm sorry, yeah. She proceeded with us, very kind lady, up to the end of the case, and a date of a judgment was announced. Prosecution opened their case. They brought in all their witnesses. So I refused that all the charges against us were not true. I opened my defense with the help of Hassan Martin. Lawyer Hassan Martins was the one who defended me in the trial. And my brother also, Usman Saidy-Khan, opened his defense. So at the end of the trial, a date for the judgment was given, but up to date, the judgment was never delivered. I went to exile, 5 years, I'm back. That's how we leave the case.
During that time that you were charged for a number of offenses,
yeah.
Including obstructing a police officer, were you on bail during that time?
Yes, I was given bail by Surakata Danso.
So how much time did you spend in police custody before you were bailed?
4 days.
And during those 4 days, did anything happen to you?
Yes, Mr. Salah, Halifa Salah, sent in somebody they call Per Asin. He is now late, he died. Per Asin was sent by Mr. Salah to come and find out as to what is happening to me at the police station. Per came and investigated everything and then went back to Mr. Sala to report to him. So this Mr. Per Asin was one of the witnesses I used in court to testify in my favor. But now he is late.
When you say to look at you, what was his role? Did you receive any kind of medical assistance or anything while you were at the police station?
No, I did not receive any medical assistance, but when I was released from the police and I was given bail at the Bundu Magistrate Court, I went to Serekunda Hospital and then complained of pains and some of the bruises that I have out of blows and other stuff. So they gave me a medical examination on a paper. I presented this as an exhibit during the trial.
So you told us that both sides, meaning prosecution and defense, were heard,
yeah,
and a date was set for judgment.
Exactly.
But your testimony is that judgment was never delivered.
Exactly.
Do you know why?
I don't know why. But I was once told by this Christiana L. Leon that the Chief Justice at the time was interested in the case. That's Justice Agihim.
But you were never called, no judgment was delivered?
No judgment was delivered.
To date?
To date, yes. And then the magistrate later traveled for further studies. I don't know whether it was in UK or it was in, but he just said, the case, your case file is with the Chief Justice, full stop.
So I'd like to now move on to the fourth incident.
Yes.
And that was in 2012. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, on the 6th of September 2012, on Thursday, around 4, there was this execution that occurred at the Mile 2 Central Prison. 9 death row inmates executed on August 23rd, 2012. Tabara Samba, Lamin Dabo, and so many people were part of that execution. But prior to this execution, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Yahya Jammeh, came on television and then was heard at the top of his voices that he is going to execute 9 prisoners from the Mile 2 Central Prison, and if anybody doubts, he is going to drink alcohol and eat pork. He said it on television. So on the 23rd, he executed these people. So after the execution, I did not even know as a journalist the reason of the execution, but I was interested in the article. But this time I was not working at Foray, I was working as a freelance journalist and then attending my law program at West African Insurance Institute, Y. So I called my brother Abubakarr, he's a journalist. He's now the managing editor of the Monitor newspaper. So I said to him, why not we write a letter to the Inspector General of Police and then ask him for a legal authorization for us to stage a demonstration, a peaceful demonstration about the execution. Because everybody was quiet at the moment after the execution. People were afraid to the core. So when we...
Why did you feel that, you wanted to protest against this particular...
Yes, because I see the circumstances surrounding the execution as unlawful, illegal, and unconstitutional. Because I was told in the Constitution that the President has the powers to commute some of those death sentences into life sentences. So why should you just execute those people like that? No reason was given. So I felt that if I was in their shoes, how would I feel? You see, so we write this letter. We wrote this letter to the Inspector General of Police, which was, the then Inspector General of Police was Yankuba Sonko. Yankuba Sonko was the Inspector General of Police by the time. And the letter went on Thursday, 6th of September 2012. So I went back to school with my brother. We were from Banjul. We just sent the letter, and then I went to school. So
that would be Abubakarr Cisse, right?
Yeah, Abubakarr Cisse was with me. We both went.
And you wrote the letter together
Exactly.
and submitted it, requesting a permit to protest.
So we dropped the letter, and it was there was this personal assistant, senior police officer to the Inspector General of Police who recorded the purpose of our letter on a record book there. So after, he said, we will get back to you guys later. So we went. I was at the school. I received a call that I should go back to the police headquarters and then receive the permit, that it is ready. But the way the man was speaking to me, he's a senior police officer, I knew my instinct was telling me that these people they are about to arrest you. Yes, because he was in a haste. try and come back. Even if you can take a town trip, just rush. Your permit is ready. So I knew that they were told to arrest us. So I called Abubakarr and told Abubakarr, these people are calling me. Where can we meet? Abubakarr said, look, if we can have the courage to go and apply for a permit, so we should have the courage to go and then pick the permit. Whatever happens, happens.
So at that time, you felt that a senior police officer who called you to go and pick up the permit was deceiving you.
Exactly.
Even before you got
That's
to the
That's what I hear.
station.
I saw the trick in the way he was communicating with me. So when we arrived, I saw senior police officers packed at the gate of the police headquarters waiting for us. So when we arrived, they said, are you Abubakarr Saidy? I said, yes. Are you Abubakarr Saidy? We said, yes. Climb up. So we climb up, going, and they were following us. So it was obvious that this is going to be an arrest. So, but what can we do? Because my name is there, my contacts are there already. So when we arrived, we were seated in the department of the Interpol. So we get into the office. After hours later, nobody informed us as to why we were sitting there. So we began asking them questions. They said, in fact, look, but you guys are planning a demonstration. So you are going to sit here and then wait. When the orders come, we will know what to tell you. So we just sat like that till later.
Do you recall what time you arrived at the police headquarters?
Yes, we arrived around, we left around 4 and then we were back at the police station around 6 o'clock.
So from 6 o'clock, you were seated there
Yes.
in the Interpol division. You weren't told why you were there.
Exactly.
And then eventually you were told to wait for further information.
Exactly.
Do you recall how much time you spent before you received that additional information?
Yeah, over 3 to 4 hours we were sitting.
So this was already around 9, 10
Yeah,
p.m.?
after Maghrib and then Isha prayer. People started going home from Banjul. So that was the time that they said, no, you are going to spend the night here. Yes, so we were there till late night.
Where were you, which office or which area were you told to wait?
The Interpol department, they have an office there. So we were inside the office sitting down, talking to them. They wanted to get statements, we never gave statements. They did all kind of tricks, we never gave statements.
Apart from trying to get statements, what kinds of tricks did they try to do?
Yeah, in one point in time, they were telling Abubakarr that I was the brain behind the whole thing, that I am the one who is planning the demonstration against the government and stuff like that. That the US government and the British government are behind us. They have given us money for us to stage this kind of a thing, you see. But the president will never allow what happened in Libya, in Tunisia, to happen here again, because there was Arab Spring at the time. So they were very conscious of that. So these were the worst statements that they were giving us. So I was just keeping quiet, looking at them.
So they were trying to get you to turn on each other, is that what you're saying?
What? Come again?
They were trying to get you to turn on each other by
Yes,
telling...
that was the trick, yeah. Yeah, and they succeeded in one point in time, because when they were searching our house... Okay.
Let's take it step by step.
Can
I'm
I
sure
come? I
we'll
want
get there.
to ease myself.
Sure. Can we, Mr. Chairman, can we have a short break of a few minutes? Yes, please go ahead.
Yes.
Mr. Saidy-Khan,
Yeah.
are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, may we proceed? Before the short break, you were just telling us about the attempts by the police to force you to make statements and the fact that they tried to use tricks in order to get you to turn on each other. That's your testimony so far. Please continue telling us what happened
Yes.
at Banjul Police Headquarters.
Exactly. So the same night, there was this pickup that they brought, and I was brought to the pickup at Abubakarr CC, so we were taken to the Kotu police station that the same night. So they dropped me at the Kotu police station, and then Abubakarr proceeded to the Brusubi police station. So I spent the night at the Kotu police station, and Abubakarr spent the night at the Brusubi police station.
Do you know why you were separated from each other?
Perhaps, I believe, they don't want us to have conversations during those times. Yes. They don't want us to talk to each other because maybe we can share ideas and see how we can defend ourselves if the matter is taken to the court. Yes. Because Abubakarr is also a very intelligent journalist. Yes. I know him very well.
So they tried to get you to turn on each other at Banjul Police Headquarters. That didn't work. They took you to separate police stations.
Yeah.
So you were at Kotu, and he was at Brusubi. Can you tell us about your experience at the Kotu police station?
Yes, when I was at Kotu police station, I was in a one-man cell. There was two police. We have two cells there, but I was the only one in my cell, so I spent the night there. All the other detainees were packed in the other cell, so they were not even allowing me to talk to anybody. So the following day, around 4 or 5, they came for me again. That was on the 7th of September. They came for me, and then we went to Brusubi police station. But when I went to Brusubi police station, this time I did not meet Abubakarr there. So I asked about the whereabouts of Abubakarr. They said, well, I should not be concerned about that. So I spent the night at Brusubi police station. Yes.
Throughout that time, did they tell you exactly why they had arrested you?
No. We were not informed as to why we were arrested. But no, we were informed at the police headquarters as to why we were arrested.
Oh, so you actually told that it was in
In connection
with your
the
request
letter, yes.
for a
So
permit.
it continues. So we knew that it's because of the letter. That's why we are under arrest. So I spent the night at Brusubi police station, and Abubakarr was moved to the Banjul headquarters on the 7th of September.
So what happened while you were at Brusubi police station?
Yeah, while I was there, my wallet was seized by the police officers. All watches and other stuffs that I have on me were all taken from by the police. Everything was recorded. So I spent there also. I was in a one-man cell, but on my own there. The following day, they came for me again, for me to join Abubakarr at the police headquarters.
So back to Banjul.
Yes, that was on the 8th of September.
During that time, were you given access to a lawyer?
No. But GP, when we were at Banjul on the 8th, members of the Gambia Press Union, Emil Toure was the president at the time, and Jubairu Jane is now working with the National Assembly, was the Secretary General. They came to see us, but I think the police were playing tricks that we were not at the police headquarters, you see. So when I had the conversation from Emil and Jubairu as to our whereabouts, because we were inside, so they were just next to the door talking to the police, so I just pushed the door and asked them that I'm going to ease myself. So Emil saw me, and then Jubairu saw me. So that's the time that they confirmed that we were there. Yes.
So at that time, prior to you coming out, the police were in fact trying to conceal your whereabouts.
Exactly.
So what happened next?
So from there, a bail was negotiated. Each of us were bailed. My family members came to bail me, and Abubakarr also, his family members were there. We were all bailed, and we went home.
So you spent about, is it 3 days at the
Yeah.
police station?
Exactly. But before all that, during our arrest, there was this searching that took place also.
When did that occur?
Yes. When we were at Bundung, at the police headquarters, before the released, before the bail will come, they went to they took us to Bundung police station. So, and Abubakarr was the first person that they escorted to his house to search whether these materials that we print to hold the demonstrations were there, because they were looking for evidences at least to do the prosecution. So they went to Abubakar's house, but not knowing that Abubakarr, before the whole thing, brought all the materials to me. So the materials were in my house. I placed them on top of my television. So when they searched Abubakar's house, they could not see anything. So they brought Abubakarr back to Bundung police station, and I was picked. So when I was picked to my house, so the first day that we appeared, my father was very terrified, and my other family members. Everywhere was calm. So I told my father that they are here to, because they already knew that I am under arrest with the police. So I told my father, I informed my father that they are here to search my house, at least to look for some materials that they will get, because they want to take us to court. So I asked my father to calm down, and my brothers. But they did not understand that my key, the key to my house, was with my junior brother, this Usman Saidy-Khan, who was arrested at Talending. So my brother also knew the trouble at the time, and he went out. He went to my grandma in Brikama and was spending the night there for several days, just not to allow them to open my house. So as a result, they have to break my house and get inside.
So they entered your home forcefully?
Yes. There was no search warrant, and I was not even informed that they are going to search, but they just told me, let's go to your house. So we went to her house, and I saw my house. Somebody was picked up outside to come and break the house. Hackshot the house, and then the driver get in, search all the place, but could not see where I hide the materials. Yeah.
Were you present in the house during that search?
Yes, I was standing at my window. I was standing looking at them. But I was very afraid, because if they see the nylon bag, that would have been the end of everything, because they will use that as an evidence against us at the court. They could not see it.
But at that time, all you were doing was preparing for a demonstration,
Yes.
and you had sought a permit
Exactly.
to hold the demonstration.
Exactly.
So you hadn't really broken any laws at that point?
Come again?
You had not broken any laws at that point?
I've not
You
broken.
did not do anything illegal at that point?
No, it's legal to apply for a permit, a legal authorization to hold a peaceful demonstration is in the Constitution, but we were not given the permit, but we were arrested. Yes.
Exercising your right to request the permit in order to protest.
Exactly.
After they conducted a search at your home, did they find anything? Did they find that nylon bag in the
No.
end? No.
Yeah, no.
So tell us what happened after that.
So later, after all that, a bail was negotiated. So that was the time when Emil came and Jubairu Jane, and they were telling them that we were not there. So I pushed the door and said that I was going to. So they saw us, then we negotiated for a bail, and each of us was given a bail. So, but the matter could not proceed to the court. We were charged, but the matter could not proceed to the court because there was no evidence that they could hold.
So what happened after that?
Yes, after that, that was September. So in October, I think in my statement I talk about 3rd October something. I want to forget.
Yes,
Yes.
It's 3rd October 2012.
Yes, can you guide me with what I said there?
Well, you talked about a meeting that you had.
Exactly. Then the Justice Minister at the time was Lamin Jobate, and the Solicitor General at the time was Pahari Jame. So we were called, each of us was called on our phone that we should have a meeting with Pahari Jame and the Justice Minister Lamin Jobate.
When you say each of us was called, it was you and
Abubakarr.
And Abubakarr.
Yes.
Tell us what happened at that meeting.
So we went. It was a daytime. We all went to Banjo, to the meeting, and during the meeting, Lamin informed all of us that the president was not ready to do anything wrong to us. You see, that we were all young. We should all go and look for the education than to be involving ourselves into such type of things. You see, he said, Saidy-Khan, you are considered as a very stubborn journalist. That's what they are saying. But you should be careful. So there was this time that I wanted to talk to Pahari, and he was very angry. And Abubakarr told me, no, don't mind. Let's just have the meeting and then get away.
So it was the Attorney General at the time, Mr. Lamin Jobate,
Yes.
who was giving you this advice.
Exactly.
And telling you that the president would not proceed on this occasion.
Exactly.
But you shouldn't involve yourself in such
Exactly.
matters.
Yes.
And you're better off going and pursuing your studies.
Yes. Yes.
What else happened at that meeting? Did anything else happen?
Yes, that was the end of it. We were just advised as young people not to, because they have a prejudicial mind against us that someone somewhere is behind the whole thing. You see, they are not still so, but because of lack of getting evidences, that's why we were not prosecuted. We could have all been prosecuted. That was the plan.
Who did they think was behind pushing you to do this?
Exactly. They thought that these American organizations, civil rights organizations, are the ones sponsoring us to do these things. That's what they told us at the police headquarters. They accused the America and they accused the British government, and going to the stage of telling us, if you want to bring the situation that happened in Libya or in Tunisia, we will not allow it. So on the 25th, can I continue?
So they were concerned about
Exactly.
having a similar Arab Spring, so to speak,
Exactly.
in the Gambia.
Exactly.
Please continue.
Yes, then on the 25th of October 2012, on Wednesday, I was at the Gambia Press Union, sitting down, checking on my emails. So around 3 to 4, this email came into my inbox. The headline is Tobaski warning. Choose life or death. So they started explaining. Mofala Jato, I don't know who is Mofala Jato, but I know they have just created an anonymous email address and then start threatening us, explaining where I lived, and they were correct. That's exactly where I live. Yeah, Abubakarr also, they explain where he lives in Talending, behind the market, and it's exactly where Abubakarr lives. So they asked me that if you spend another 2 weeks in this country, consider yourself a dead man. Abubakarr, the same thing. But before I do anything, when I saw the email, I called Abubakarr and asked him, did you check your email? Abubakarr said yes. I said, get into it and read what these people are trying. Who is sending us this? He said, they are threatening us now. I said, Abubakarr, then if the matter wants to go further than this, then I have to consider living here. You see what I mean? So Abubakarr said, no, they will not do anything. I said, Abubakarr, we are not better than Data Hydra. You are not better than Chief Mane. You are not better than Omar Barrow or a journalist. If they threaten to kill you, they mean it. Leave the country. I tried to persuade Abubakarr in all ways, but he refused. You see? I don't know why he refused, but I considered moving to exile.
But before you proceed, I want to still focus on the threat that you received via email.
Yeah.
You said it was from an account that you believe was fake, but with the caption or with the words Mofala Jato. What does that mean? Do you know?
Mofala Jato in Mandinka is a lion killer. Yes. But his real name is not mentioned in it. But all that we are trying to tell us is what the police were telling us. If you want to bring the situation of the Arab Spring in this country, Tunisia, Libya, and other stuffs, we will kill you like Tobaski ram. Saidy-Khan, you are very stubborn. We know you as a very stubborn journalist. I don't know why are they describing me as a stubborn journalist. Yes, but it's a question known to them. You know, they are at liberty to call me all names, but I was not considering myself as a stubborn journalist. That was just my work.
You provided us with a copy of that email,
Yeah.
the threat that was issued to you. I'm going to give it to the usher to provide it to you so you can confirm that
Okay.
this is what you gave us.
Exactly.
And then I will read out the contents.
Yes, this is the death threat. Yeah. Exactly, this is what I gave you. Yeah. Yeah. It's a copy of it.
Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I will read the information on the death threat and then pass it around to the commissioners to take a look.
Yes, please proceed.
So, Mr. Saidy-Khan, just as you stated, it is from Mofala Jato at yahoo.com, and it was sent to you. Your email address is noted, and sent to a BCC as well. I assume that's Abubakarr. And it was on Thursday, 25th October, 2012, at 4:58 a.m. The subject is Tobaski warning, choose life or death. Mm-hmm. And it says, unpatriotic citizens, read this Tobaski warning. It is left to you to make a choice. You choose to live or die, you must take one. I know that you know what my name Mofala means in your own language, Mandinka. You are stubborn, effing guys, I didn't read that out, effing guys who want to destroy the image of the APRC government and our affectionate President Yahya Jammeh. You think that you can apply for permit to bring the Tunisian, Egypt, Algeria, Syria, and Libya situation here. I will come with my team of patriotic killers who will kill for the love of our country and our president. The police are not the best guys to deal with you. I have stepped in voluntarily to kill all of you, and if you deny this, just ignore my warning. I know that you are dealing with Gambian dissidents abroad, but you will not survive it at all. For the fact that your stupid colleagues who called themselves journalists gave me your email addresses shows that you are easy to finish. Cisse, I know your home in Talinding, near the small market, not far from Churchill's Town, and Saidy-Khan, you live at Ibo Town, near Pakijola. Mm-hmm. We will get all of you and slaughter you like Tobaski rams. We will come for you without any further information. We will F you to death soon. None of you will escape. From Mo Falajato and his team of patriotic killers. Is that what you received?
Exactly, yeah.
Tell us how you felt when you received this, this email,
yes.
This death threat.
When I received this death threat, I could remember at the press union was in Fajara at the time. I spoke to Abubakarr Cisse. Abubakarr was with me in the hall when I was receiving the email. And Abubakarr also came to cross-check and told me this is not a joke, so we have to make a plan now. So we decided publishing it everywhere. So the international organizations also started to pick it and then start writing statements. I gave you some statements from Amnesty International and stuff, everybody attacking the government, asking me if I feel threatened to leave the country. Some are even telling me in my email that I should rush to Senegal and they will take care of me. In as much as I landed in Senegal, they will take care of me. Let me not just joke with it. So I was trying to convince my friend for us to leave. Because that was not a joke. But I don't know why Mr. Cisse refused to leave. He stayed and I was in exile for 5 years. Yeah, but to me, I was the only one they call stubborn journalist. So I was not taking it light because you cannot take it for granted. And I have seen examples where the late Daida Haidara was also warned before such things happen. So I was not taking it as an easy thing, so I decided to leave.
When did you leave? When did you leave the country?
Yes, I left in November after making some consultations. There were some journalists who were telling me there is no need for me to go because this is it's just a threat. They just want to threaten you. I seek advice from my father, and my father told me that those that are killed by the regime, you are not better than them. So if you can get yourself into Senegal, do. My father told me this. So I went to my grandma in Brikama. I told my grandma, and my grandma repeated the same thing. She is still living. So from there, I packed my things. My brother, who is currently in Switzerland, I gave my bag, my traveling bag to him to travel to Turkestan and drop my bag in a shop. So my brother dropped my bag there, and I came, I picked my bag, I went to Barra straight. That was on the 16th of November, on Friday. I left the country on Friday and landed in Senegal on Saturday. Yoff Tongoor, just next to the Leopold Sédar Senghor International Airport. That's where I was living for 1 year.
So you fled the country as a result of death threats
Yes.
that were issued against you
Absolutely.
because of your profession as a journalist
Yes.
and the activities you were engaged in.
Yes.
You told us that you spent about 5 years in Senegal,
Yeah.
in exile. I want to briefly just ask you about the impact and the experience being in exile had on you. And then we will come to the end of your testimony.
Yes.
So can you just tell us about your experience in Senegal, being there as a person who was in exile, and just how life was for you there?
Yeah. When I entered in November, that was the time that President Macky Sall was newly elected as the president of Senegal. So I was at Yoff Tongoor in one of the hotels called Tahiti Hotel, Tahiti. The owners of the hotels are from Casamance, but they are Senegalese. So they speak my language very well. So, and they are Muslims too. I was there and I told them that I want to take a room. I explained my conditions to them, so they understand. I was given a room. I started writing to the international organizations, Freedom House, Amnesty International, CPJ, and lots of, and even Media Foundation for journalists in Ghana. So they all knew that I was in Senegal, and they started to give me a helping hand. So I spent 1 year in that hotel, and everything was taken care of by this organization. So later part, I had a discussion with the director of Article 19, that's Fatou Diagne Senghor, and she advised me to take a separate room because a hotel is too expensive. So there I moved. From 1 year, I moved out of the hotel and I was living around Nyari Tali. But before living in Nyari Tali, I used to have some time in Point O. Point O is where the former president of Senegal, Abdoulaye Wade, is living. You see, so RADO is there. There is this Senegalese human rights organization. That is RADO. That's where I used to spend most of my times. Yes.
And what did it feel like being in exile in Senegal, away from your family members who were still here in Gambia?
It's absolutely bad because sometimes I had to buy 10,000 CFA credit to call my family and then speak to them and know what is their condition at the time. It was very expensive. So whenever I speak to my family and they start complaining, I feel bad, you see, because I cannot come and then do my part. So my brothers were too young at the time. Now they all traveled, 3 of them. Even the one who helped me to pick my bag is in Switzerland. They are all big boys now. But they were very young when I was leaving. So I had missed that opportunity of seeing them growing up. Yeah, when I was in Senegal. 5 years is not 5 days, you know. So we were living on our own. You depend on people to advise you, but I have maintained my principles as a journalist when I was in Senegal. I was very critical of Yaya Jammeh. At a point in time, I was threatened to be extradited back to the Gambia if I don't stop writing in the internet against Jammeh. All these things are in the internet.
Can you briefly tell us about that?
Yeah, there was this journalist, a Chadian journalist, who was critical of his government. His name is Makaila. He was extradited out of Senegal to France. And the police officer who first facilitated the extradition is called Mr. Ndiaye. He's in Senegal. They are responsible of preparing this recipe C. Any Gambian who entered Senegal, you must have a paper called recipe C from the Senegalese authority to document your name and your information that you left Gambia and you are in exile, so that if you are caught by the police, you will just give them that paper and they will know that your record is with the central government of Senegal. The policeman was very good to me, but he used to advise me, the plainclothes officers from Gambia are everywhere in Senegal. So you have to be very careful. Don't stay at one place for 1 year. At one area, don't do it. If you leave 6 months, go to another area. Don't allow them to know where you are. He was always advising me. He became my good friend. But at a time when this Chadian journalists started to be critical of their government in Chad, he was extradited out of the country. The same thing happened to me. They attempted to extradite me, but it failed. Later, I don't know why it failed, but I was told that if I did not stop writing in the internet, I am going to be extradited. And it's a woman who told me, is the leader of that institution that gave us those recipes. Yeah. And after that, can I continue? Yeah, after that I had this allegation on my name in 2016. Two secret officers came from the Senegalese intelligence saying that they've had an information that I was a spy, giving information to Jammeh. I said, who gave you the information? They said, they are just informed. I pulled my card, professional card. I was on investigation with regards to the border debacle between Gambia and Senegal, because there was a border issue between Gambia and Senegal at the time. So I was investigating that while I was in Senegal. So we met at Point O. So they said I should go to the intelligence headquarters. They want to question me, that they receive information that I'm passing information to Jammeh and I'm in Senegal. I am a spy. So I said, no, that could not be true. So when I went in 2016, I spent 3 days there. They kept me in a cell. These guys, I think they are accused of taking part in this Boko Haram thing in Nigeria. They are Senegalese, all with BS, but they are working with Boko Haram. So I don't know what happened. They are deported back to Senegal, and the Senegalese government kept them in the intelligence headquarters. So when I went, those are the people that I shared a cell with. So I was in the cell. There was a Senegalese officer who came and told me, do you have a contact number of Panderi Mbai, the journalist in America, in North Carolina? I said, I know him very well. I used to write for him. In fact, there was one time I was the bureau chief for Panderi Mbai in the Gambia, working for him, corresponding for him. So the guy said, if you can speak to Panderi Mbai, you will leave this place very soon, because if he publishes your article that you are here, these people will leave you. But that time my phones were seized. I have access to internet, but I was not having access to my phones. So after 3 days, I was arrested on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday I was taken to the Senegalese High Court. So when I was taken to the High Court, a prosecutor came and then inquired my situation. I told him, look, I have left my country out of danger. I'm in exile. I have all my papers at home. So, but these people arrested me. They did not tell me anything, but just accusing me of being a spy to Jammeh. How can I leave Gambia and come to exile and you're telling me that I'm working for Jammeh? You see, he said to me, do you know Yaya Jammeh, the prosecutor? I said, yes, of course I know Yaya Jammeh. He is my president. He said, but do you have any relationship with him? I said, no, I don't have any personal relationship with Jammeh. I left as a result of a danger, and I'm here. He said, well, we received information that you are passing information to Jammeh. I said, no, this is not true. Then he was not convinced with my argument at the time. Many people were there, Senegalese. Then he said, now, investigation has to continue, my brother. You have to go to the central prison and spend some time, and then we do our investigation. So I said, but right now, can I call somebody, Gambians that are here, and inform them about my situation? He said, no problem. I can even lend you my phone. Then he brought his phone. I picked some numbers and then called Aissatou Dabo. Aissatou Dabo is a Gambian journalist living in Senegal for quite a long time. When I was living in Senegal, he was working with the American embassy, the USAID something in the American embassy in Senegal. I called, but Aissatou, I don't know what happened. When I told him that I am in trouble in Senegal, I'm accused, I'm sorry to say it, but he was somehow reluctant to talk to me. I don't know what was the allegation about. So I dropped the call and called the then director of Federation of African Journalists, something, I forgot the name. But Pa Louis Tomasi is working there. He's director. I forgot his name. But when I called him, he said, let me call Sana Kamara and other Gambians that are here, and then we will ask them about your situation. So he called, he made his own inquiries, but I did not hear anything. So I was in the prison. I just took it like that. I was in the prison for some time. I have not seen anybody who came there to inquire about my situation in the prison. So because I can speak good Wolof, so I was having a good relationship with some of the officers and the the inmates there. This was the time that Karim Wade got a problem with President Sall, and Karim Wade was in the prison. So sometimes we used to collect our food together and do so many things at the prisons. That was the first time I had the opportunity to see Karim Wade in the prisons. So I spent 1 month, 7 days, after making huge complaints, writing letters upon letters to the prison authority that I cannot just stay here and then I'm not giving information about why I am here. The allegation on my name should have been investigated and I should have been told. Just to keep me here indefinitely does not make sense. You either take me to court and I fight my case than to leave me here. So when I disturb them with complaints, there is this social welfare officer who is in the prison. He is very compassionate. I forgot the name now, but I have him. I have the name in my records because when I came from Exile, I was just publishing just to keep the records. So I was taken to court at some point in time. I argued my case, but there was no complainant. I have not seen any complainant. I was not served any charge sheet to let me know that this was the reason why you are here. It was just based on assumption and stuff like that. So when I complained, they could not give me a judgment that day because Senegalese system, their justice system and our justice system is somehow different. I could not understand. There was no legal, because there is a lawyer who wanted to represent me, but he charged me 600,000 CFA. I told the guy I don't have that money. 600,000 CFA, I cannot just pay you right now. If you are going to defend, you defend. But if you cannot defend, I can speak Wolof and defend myself. And that's what I did. But in the court that day, journalist Lamin Fati was present. And my first appearance at the court, it was only journalist Lamin Fati who came to look for my whereabouts. When he saw me, we all felt bad because it was packed to a high capacity. So I saw Lamin Fati and I signaled him that I'm here, I'm at the prison. So Lamin Fati I think he started spreading the information. So the day that they promised that I should be given my judgment, that day is Seni MK Marena, who was at the court. Seni MK Marena was at the court. Alaji Job, journalist Alaji Job was at the court, and journalist Lamin Fati. We are the 3 Gambian journalists who came to the court to witness my judgment. I argued my case to the level. So the trial judge who was sitting before me said to me that I have to go back to the prisons till they are done. If they are done, they will let me know. So that was the last time I appeared in the court. So after follow-up, writing letters and then complaining, on the 10th of June 2016, around 10 o'clock on Friday, I was released.
Thank you very much for that explanation, Mr. Saidy-Khan.
Thank you so much.
I have concluded my questions. Thank you for answering them. Mr. Chairman, I have concluded. I defer to the commissioners for further questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma Council, and thank you very much, Mr. Saidy-Khan. I'm sorry that you were an addressee and a recipient of this chilling email that we had seen threatening your life. Commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate. And Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Abubakarr Saidy-Khan, you mentioned your colleague Abubakarr Sise. Can you tell us the whereabouts of Abubakarr as of now?
Yes, he is in town. The last proceeding, I saw him in the hall. He is the current managing editor of the Monitor newspaper. He is not in operation right now because there are so many, cost of, operating a paper in this country. But we are not. We are not getting close anymore because I am into other stuffs and he is into his own stuff. But his condition is just. I'm just seeing him. We are normal. We are all normal. I'm just seeing him, but there is nothing like. There is no problem between us, but we are not having that relationship any longer.
But do you know whether anything happened to him after you left for Exile?
Exactly. When I left to Exile, I was not informed that anything happens to him, and I have not seen anything published in the internet or on papers or called to inform me that something happened to him. But when I was in Exile, I used to talk to him on phone and on Facebook. Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Imam Jallo, you have the floor, please.
Mr. Saidy-Khan,
Thank you, Dad.
I'm very much impressed by your strength, but curious to know what made you to follow up your journal, your activity in journalism, rather than pursuing your program in law.
My program
Can you please explain?
My program in
law, in the law program.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I started this program in law at West African Insurance Institute, we've gone through a first semester, 6 months. It was a diploma in law. So the second semester coincided with the execution. So we've written the letter to the Inspector General of Police, and then the arrest came. When the arrest came, the threat of death came. So I decided to abandon the law and then go. Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Saidy-Khan, if you have any closing remarks to make, please proceed to do so now.
Yes, I'm concerned with, Mr. Chairman, I'm concerned with a few things. The relationship between police officers and accused persons in this country, to me, is getting worse. The problem is I have experienced some incident between me and even after I came to Gambia, Ibo Town Police Post, Talinding Police Station, and Bundum Police Station. You know, presumption of innocence before proven guilty is never considered by these people. What I see is that if somebody lodges a complaint against you at some of these police stations, the first person who went to the police station to lodge a complaint is the person they considered the innocent. Even if later things are proved otherwise, this is how they see things. You can go to a police station, they will force you to give a statement, they will threaten to take you into the cells, they will insult you sometimes, they will use words that are not convenient at all. I have experienced it. Right now, as I speak to you, I should appear to Bundum Magistrate Court tomorrow. Right now, as I speak to you. You see what I mean? What happened is, this guy came to, there is a woman who came to my compound and then fought, and then the matter was taken to a police station, and it is now at Bundum, you see? So I don't know why that was happening to me, but I am just calm, and I am just respecting all what they are saying. So tomorrow I should appear at the Bundum Magistrate Court to see whether the case is going to proceed or is not going to proceed. So this is getting tough on me, and I don't want to react in any negative way. You see, I don't want to react in any negative way, but I have lodged the complaint to the Gambia Press Union, and they have listened to my complaint, and this is the situation. I'm very concerned with that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, and wish you all the best tomorrow at the police station. If there are no further points to make, we will take a lunch break and resume at 2:30 sharp. Mr. Saidy-Khan, thank you again very much for coming to testify. Meeting is adjourned.